So guess what? I caved and I bought more paints. And of course I bought my favorite ones, which are the Alchemy Metallique paints. And I thought I'd do another swatch of these like my last video, because I always think it's useful to be able to see the colors out of the bottle before you buy them. I'm so indecisive when I go online shopping, so I kind of like do a search on YouTube or something just to see if anybody has swatched the colors that I want to buy. So let's start with, what have we got here? We have, this one is Brass Hardware. So I guess a kind of a brassy, coppery color, and I'll do the same as I did last time where I swatch on black and will swatch on white as well. I know for dotting, most people tend to have a dark background rather than a light background. It's always good to see what it looks like on both. Next up is, I don't have a lot of greens. I guess I don't use a lot of greens. It's not my favorite color, green. This one is Golden Moss. It's a very deep, rich color with hints of gold in it. I guess that's why it's called Golden Moss. I love how deep and rich these Art Alchemy Metallique colors are. I don't think I've had any other paints that quite match the richness of these colors. And talking of richness, I think this has to be my new favorite. I mean, my all-time favorite is always going to be Coral Reef and Spring Blossom. I love those two colors, but this is just divine. This is such a deep, deep blue. This one's called Midnight Blue, if I didn't mention that already. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Such a luscious colour. And then, just cleaning my tool off every time I dip into a new one. This one is called Ice Queen. Again, it's another beautiful pale blue. It's almost got a little bit of a lilac-y tone to it. Oh, went a bit wonky there. Try again. Definitely well named, I think, with the Ice Queen. It is a very icy blue colour, and it's gorgeous. I recently used these two colours with my two favourite colours. I'll just show you guys. This is a little tea light holder. Well, I wouldn't say little, it's actually a big tea light holder. Let's see if I can get this in the right position. And I've got a little lid to it. And these, this is something that I molded, well, cast myself. So the molds I get from Kate at devondotting.com. She has the most amazing molds, really great quality molds. And yeah, I painted this the other day, and isn't that blue just divine with the coral? So that's the back of it. So we have there the Midnight Blue, the Coral Reef, the lighter one is the Spring Blossom, and then that blue is the Ice Queen that I've just swatched. Okay, what do we have next? We have Crocus Fields. So some of you have asked where I get my paints from. So these particular ones, the Art Alchemy ones, I have been getting from joggles.com, which I'll put down in the comments. So it's Barbara at joggles.com, has such a good range of these colors. There are other shops online as well, so if you go into Google shopping, you'll be able to see where else you can get them. But I just like getting from one place, and Joggles seems to have a good range. Then another green. I bought two greens, oh my goodness. Dragonfly. It's much lighter, this one, than the previous green that I just swatched. Looks very bright in the bottle. This one I think I would use quite in limited amounts on a piece. It's very bright for me. I'm not a bright colour person, says the person who wears black almost all the time, or dark colours at least, if not black. And then another one of my absolute favourite colours generally, which is, I think, is an unusual colour for paint, is this patina. Light patina, this one. And just to note that these are all metallic paints. They have a gorgeous sheen to them. And I love this colour. It's like a duck egg blue, and it's going to go beautifully with the coral colours that I use. So I think that's going to be one of my next projects. This patina with coral colours. Okay, so the next ones that I have are the Sparks range. So I explained last time, these are slightly different. You can recognise them because they have the black top compared to the silver top. These have a lot more mica in them, are a lot more sparkly. I do prefer the metallic ones, but these are great colours too. Once I swatch everything, I'll zoom in a bit on these swatches, and then you can see just how sparkly they are. These are great. The one thing, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when I'm dotting, so the metallic ones have a nice kind of perfect edge on them, but because this is, I don't know if it's the mica, I have no idea what it is, these just seem to have a more jaggedy edge to your dots, and a little bit more so when you're obviously working on canvas because of the tooth that canvas has. So I like it. I just not a huge fan of the way it kind of dots around the edges. So what do we have here? Phoenix Feather. This is another coral color. I have a lot of coral colors. Beautiful deep reddish coral, this one. Great color if you're painting some kind of a sunset. What do we have next? We have, this one is Raven Black. Sure, I opened these, but I left the lids on. Okay. So it's a kind of a, I would say maybe almost pewterish. It's not a deep black. It has a lot of mica in it, so there's a lot of sparkle to it. Right, I've got two more left. Let's go with this one. This is Dragon's Eye. As you see, I have my brace on. My carpal tunnel is killing me, and my OT has said that I should get an operation. Problem is finding the time to get an operation, because I would be out of action for, I guess, a couple of months, I think. And because I'm a photographer, it's kind of hard knowing when I'm not going to be photographing or editing on the laptop photos. So something that I'm going to have to figure out what to do. Got hair everywhere. Right, let's get rid of that. So this one, what did I say that one was? That one was Dragon Eye. It's kind of a greenish gold color, I guess. And finally, we have Enchanted. Is it just called Enchanted? Yes, it is just called Enchanted. Now, the one thing with these is try and keep the lids clean and around the edges here, because when the paint dries, it can be quite hard to get the lid off. I'm struggling a little bit more so because my hand's pretty weak at the moment. But as I say, try and keep those edges clean. And I think I mentioned in my last video that these are really great straight out of the bottle if you're using them for dotting. They make the most perfect dots. The paint seems to be fluid, but it's actually not, because wherever you put the dot, it stays there. It's not one of those fluid paints where the dot spreads and then you've got all your dots blurring into the next dot. I've used them also on a tea light, which is kind of rounded edge, and you'd think that the paint would drip down the sides, but it doesn't. It literally just stays where I've put it, which I absolutely love, because working with thinner paints, it's so hard not to get those dots bleeding into one, which, you know, then you've got to rub things out and start over, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So these paints are great straight out of the bottle. Having said that, I am now getting to the point where I have some older ones, and once they've been open for, I mean, I've had these probably now for a few months, maybe longer, they do start to get much thicker. And at this point, you can see, if I kind of pull that up, the paint doesn't go down quite as quickly. So if you do use this for dotting now, you're going to get that little peak on your dots, rather than a nice round bump on your dots. Some people like that peak, which is great. So now I've kind of got, what, a quarter of this left in here. I'm using pouring medium, so I take some of this out into a palette and I'll mix it with pouring medium, and then it's absolutely perfect again. So as I say, they will get a little bit thicker in time, but that's not a big deal, because a lot of people are using other brands as well, and they use pouring medium anyway, so it's not a big deal. I've got a nice shiny fingers. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit on these swatches that we've done. So let's see, we're all in focus. So we have right at the top, we've got brass hardware, we've got golden moss, that gorgeous blue is midnight blue, and then we have the pale blue, which is ice queen. We've got crocus fields, which is a beautiful deep purple. I mean, the colors are just divine, really. I don't have any other paints that are quite as luscious as these. Then we have this light patina color. Doesn't seem to be very metallic, that one, but I still love the color. And then we're getting on to the sparks. So we have here unicorn hair, which is such a cool name, and you can see the mica in that one. Let me just check that you guys are focused. You can see the mica, it's a lot shinier than the others, and if you can look at the edges, then just not quite as clean when it comes to dots around the edges, but still they're great to use. We then have that beautiful deep, I don't even know, it's an orange, I guess, phoenix feather, another fantastic name. I think the black was called raven black, and it's not a deep black. It has a lot of mica in it, so there's a lot of shine to it. A little bit pewter, a dark pewter maybe. Then we have dragon's eye, which is that greenish gold color, and then finally we have enchanted, which is a very kind of deep soft pink, I would say. Not particularly bright, but I love that it's not that bright. So yeah, those are my new colors, which I will add to my existing beautiful art alchemy colors. If you've not seen the first video, then you can have a look at the first video and check out the swatches that we did the first time round. And if I buy more, I've almost got all of the ones that I want, so if I buy more, I shall swatch again. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.